Mr. Mamdani, what have you been up to in your, what is it now? It's been, like 36 hours of you being mayor. Well, right before, and he referenced this in his inauguration speech, right before, no spoilers in chat, right before the inauguration, he spent an entire day. They locked him, they pulled a mind freak on him. They locked him in a featureless white room, okay? Solitary confinement, considered torture, by the United Nations. And they subjected him to the unfiltered opinions of 142 New Yorkers.
Families like mine are leaving.
Yeah.
It's a punchline to buy something here.
We used to live in this neighborhood for 5 years. We had to move out because it was just like we lived in a 1-bedroom that was converted to a 2-bedroom, and it was too small for our daughter.
Finding a place, period, is hard, right? Like finding roommates. I don't know. There's for me to do.
Well, I think a lot of this is actually what there is for us to do. And I think...
Is there a perspective trick going on here?
Well,
This looks like one of those Lord of the Rings perspective tricks, where they had Frodo and Sam, like seated at a table that was elongated on the far side. You know what I'm talking about? Fucking 7 foot tall. He's just tiny. Okay, that's cool.
I think a lot of this is actually what there is for us to do. And I think this is something I've heard from so many New Yorkers, which is that they don't feel like they can get ahead in this city.
See, now he's bigger than her. Very confusing.
If you can really focus on affordability when it comes to groceries. My sister's concern is safety in the subway. And my dad, well, he kind of just didn't really care. But
I know a lot of Staten Island gets a really bad rap for a lot of reasons, but I love Staten Island, and Staten Islanders rely on buses.
It stops running at 10 a.m.
Mr. Mamdani, please. I understand that my pathetic little province my little borough is counter-revolutionary and it deserves to be smote from the heavens. But I beg you, show us mercy. Show us mercy. Divert some of the wealth that you will collect from the coffers of the billionaires towards our tiny island. I beg of you.
At 10 p.m. So it's just like really difficult to get anywhere.
Because these children, they travel for hours on buses that are old.
Like this one?
Yeah, that's a city bus, baby. We talking about them yellow school buses that are old.
Idiot.
Like this bus contract that now, thank God, is 3 years instead of 5.
Yeah.
We were not expecting any of this. We were coming for the movie and heard you were here, and just really excited to have the opportunity just to say hi.
Does this go?
It can if you move it. Move that up.
How do we move these?
We can't.
What?
Nothing's as good as a real bus.
So I have a question for Mr. Cardamom first.
Okay.
I think it's obvious that who knows our affordability crisis.
Trump would have been like, this bus runs on clean coal, clean and beautiful. It's wild that we don't do this, by the way. Basically, no modern democracy does this, which is weird because, and I know this is kind of a trope, but it was a real thing. Kings earned a lot of their perceived right to rule off of hearing the concerns of the peasantry. That was a real thing, everywhere. I guess the idea being that even if you have the divine right to rule, you have to at least pretend to show. That's the problem with democracy. Democracy has abstracted and depersonalized all of the work that used to go into the artifice of representing the people. Nowadays it's like, why would I want to listen to the regular voters? Okay, I've got consultants who fill me in on polling data that's provided by universities that sample a representative selection of the population. Why? I don't need to meet with people. I've got donors that I can talk to. I think the town hall is supposed to serve that role now. Yeah, but that's fucking stupid because the mayor isn't at the town hall usually. The town hall, you've got some bored city councilors there, That's a totally different thing. Not a Maoist, but Communist China did this early on, if I recall correctly. They had big meetings where everyone could speak in their problems. The party would develop plans to address or provide guidance for them to solve it themselves. It's just good governance. It is. Obviously, you're not getting like a representative slice of the needs of the population by doing this, but it's humanizing. It shows that you're public, it shows that you're present, and in my opinion, as my beloved partner is pointing out from chat, who's beautiful by the way, it shows that your leader is not such a sociopath that they're incapable of interacting with real people. Because I think that's the reason why this doesn't happen anymore. You couldn't do this with Joe Biden because he would drool on his chair and fall asleep after the third person. You couldn't do this with Kamala Harris because her servos would malfunction and she would get locked into this dead-eyed zombie grin after hearing like the third slightly belligerent or entitled complaint in a row. You know, you need leaders who have the patience and kindness of a social worker, or I guess of the platonic ideal of a social worker. Yeah, you need non-psychopaths. We got to bring it back.
Favorite SoundCloud rapper? And which you can relate to.
In my opinion, if a politician cannot have frequent, regular conversations with ordinary people, they should be disqualified from office. Basically, nobody can. AOC can, Bernie Sanders can, Mamdani can. There are some politicians who can, but they are very, very rare. Overwhelmingly, you get people like Cuomo who get shepherded around in their private limo, and anytime a camera gets in their face, they've got a ring of bodyguards shoving the person away.
Obviously, in my building, landlords are encouraging rent-stabilized tenants to move out and sign away their stabilization, which is like destabilizing the entire building.
The Bronx is the lowest life expectancy.
Hate to say it, but Trump can too. No, he cannot. Trump can only act chummy when he's in an environment where he's facing no criticism. The moment Trump receives any criticism, he freaks the fuck out. Remember that video of him in the restaurant where a protester got in and started shouting at him? His ego is way too fragile. Meanwhile, like Mamdani has been on camera with people who hate him, and he just laughs it off every time. You know? Or yeah, the quiet piggy thing. No, he's a fucking freak. He goes to great lengths to protect himself from the opinions and presence of people who criticize him.
All 5 of the New York City boroughs, it has the highest poverty rates, and it has the greatest reliance on Medicaid. They are extremely vulnerable to the Medicaid cuts included in OB3.
I want all New Yorkers to have access to fresh tomatoes. Specifically tomatoes. I'm a huge fan of your plan to have a city-run grocery store in each of the boroughs. There's an opportunity with the green markets and the farm stands through Grow NYC to leverage that network, and from day one in your administration, put fresh food in front of New Yorkers.
What's on my mind is extreme heat and flooding in New York City. Really, when we're thinking about New York City and the time that we have to respond to the climate crisis, it's an issue.
Which last Democratic president do you think could have done this? Clinton probably could have, because Clinton was pretty charismatic and affable. Like he was one of those you could have a beer with him type guys. But I think that was very practiced. Carter probably could more authentically. I really think we're talking about a skill that's only stopped existing like widely in the past couple decades. I think you only have to go back a couple of decades to find most politicians were way more sociable, like way more capable of interacting with regular people. And then something happened. I really do think it was the consultancy boom. I think that in the past, you know what it was? It was the death of the Soviet Union. Absolutely it was. With no real geopolitical rival, the American aristocracy became increasingly insular and disconnected, both from the material needs of their people and even from like the basic, not this again. It's real, man. It's real. If there's an outside threat that contextualizes your behavior, as soon as that's why in 1984, like the point, the big the mega nations weren't actually at war with each other. That was the point. If they were actually at war with each other, they would have had to behave rationally to defend themselves. But because they weren't actually at war with one another, they had the ability to insulate themselves from reality. As soon as we lost our great enemy, the Soviet Union, spawn of Satan, we lost our way, okay? And all of our aristocracy, instantly, it all calcified and turned inward. Why talk with people when you can talk with consultants, you know?
That can't wait.
And what's on your mind?
My mind right now, I was just talking with, I think his name's Patrick. We were talking about Rikers Island.
Okay.
So I had this college class in my high school. I'm a junior in high school, and we're talking about the future of Rikers. But my question is like, how are we gonna get it done?
Yeah.
Because I think Rikers is a negative stain on New York City.
A law was passed here in New York City that would mandate Rikers Island be closed by 2027. And since then...
But neoliberalism came before the fall of the USSR. Yeah, but neoliberalism would not have survived the continued strength of the USSR. Neoliberalism has made America incredibly weak. It has bled us of our resources. Like, the amount of wealth inequality in America today is an actual strategic weakness for which an enemy could take advantage of. Like, back during the Cold War, America was making moves internally entirely because we were worried about the reputation of our country relative to the Soviet Union. Like, there's an argument to be made, and I think there's a very real case you could make, that a lot of the pressure on Congress to accept the Civil Rights Act was because the Soviet Union was getting a lot of mileage geopolitically out of the fact that we were having this big, like, fucking internal race war. Like, the Soviet Union was like, hey, you know, South Africa, North African countries, you know, you want to stick with the United States when this is what's going on over there? Look at our propaganda posters where there's no racism. There's no racism in the Soviet Union. Take a look at this, you know. The threat of foreign opposition pushed us to be, well, in a lot of cases, much worse, but in some cases better. I think that a lot of these negative trends calcified after it became clear that we won. Neoliberalism got way more ghoulish after we stopped having the Soviet Union to battle with. You know, you see what we did to the former Soviet states, right? The moment there was no ideological opposition, every single capitalist became like an ideological rapist. Like the shock doctrine and the massive explosion in wealth inequality in the United States, they stopped having to justify what they believed in or advocated for in contrast to any other system. Now it's like the moderate position on the wealthy, or even like the progressive position from Democrats, like the mainstream Democrat position, is still not, there is too much wealth inequality. Isn't that insane? Republicans' position is, isn't it awesome that Elon Musk is going to be the world's first trillionaire? And the Democrat position is like, I don't know, yeah, I guess like it's a little weird. They can't even name their enemy, you know? Only a very small percentage of American politicians will just openly say, we need fewer billionaires. Like, just flat out, like they have too much. Plenty of Americans will say it. The American people will say that. A majority of the American people will say that. But if you go up to American politicians, you ask about a wealth tax, tiny percentage of them are okay with it.
Especially under the current administration. They've done almost nothing to do that. 4 years ago, we had less than half of the jail population we have on Rikers Island now. So the entire plan is built for a jail population less than half the current one. And so in order to actually close it, not only do you have to build the 4 borough-based jails, but you also have to have a smaller jail population.
I work...
Mamdani speaking with the tone of a person who's been locked in a room for 24 hours speaking to random New Yorkers.
As a drama therapist in inpatient psychiatry for adults living with serious and persistent mental illness. As we know, mental health is a very big issue in New York right now. And what I'm concerned about is that because of federal funding cuts and Medicaid cuts, there are step-down programs that are starting to close, like partial hospitalization programs, intensive outpatient programs, which are really critical in reducing recidivism rates.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the programs that are set to close?
Intensive outpatient programs, like the one I have heard within health and hospitals, are starting to close, or they're losing funding, basically federal funding. Essentially, they're struggling to have enough people to participate in those programs.
Struggling to get participation from New Yorkers.
Because of restrictions that would allow people to be in those programs, or because of lack of insurance that would allow them to be participants.
You said you would do universal child care. So I'm a single mother. So my question is how it will work. Like, is there any criteria between rich and poor, or everyone will get it?
So with universal child care, the vision is for everyone, no matter how much money they make or how little money they make, for everyone. Like public schools. If you have a child and you want to send them to a public school,
if New York City hospitals are struggling, the rural hospitals are probably fine, right? Rural American hospitals right now, my understanding is that it's a wasteland. If you drive more than 15 minutes out of any city, you just start seeing bodies piled up in the road. You see like corpse wagon carriers. that bring like the dead and soon to be dead. You know, you've got like moaning half corpses in the wagon. They're just dragging them over to the nearest hole somebody's dug. It's really bad out there. Rural hospitals are in a bad state.
I don't ask you how much money you make. Everybody can go to the public school.
We live in the Bronx, and when I'm 68.
Nah, Trump just pledged billions for rural hospitals. It doesn't matter. It's too late. For one, Trump pledges a lot. But for two, a lot of those hospitals are already shut down. You can't really just get them started again. Doctors and nurses need to work. A lot of them only were in those rural communities for the job. Like, as soon as the hospital shuts down, you think the doctor and the nurses are going to, like, stay in that community when they have the money and the means to travel to a city to get, like, much more fruitful labor in a place they actually like living? It's really bad. It's really, really bad.
And when I moved into the building, I wasn't even 21 yet. And when I moved into the building, it was rent stabilized and it was tenant run.
It was tenant run?
It was tenant run. This is back in the 70s. The city appointed a managing company, and you know, it's not a good story. And thinking about the fact that I moved into a rent-stabilized building when I was not even 21, and here I am 68, and I'm worried about us being homeless. It's disgusting.
I'm actually been, since COVID, I've been part of a lot of the sweeps, basically once a week for the whole course. So the sweeps.
The homelessness sweeps.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, you know, I have a different perspective because I've seen it from the beginning, and, you know, a lot of people, they might see the message, but they don't understand what went on in the toughness and the grit of the people and the changes and that it was.
Were you homeless?
Yeah, yes, okay. Yes.
You
at COVID, yeah.
Okay.
COVID for till now, it's, you know, but you know, we went through a lot. And it was basically.
Is this the fucking Evangelion OST? It does kind of sound like one of the songs in it.
And literally, you can go back 4 hours later. And what was the actual, they're claiming, that's what I'm saying, they're claiming that it's law, but it's really not.
It's fucked up that this is the least cool looking NYC black guy. No hate, you were all thinking it too. That's fucking insane, man. Unbelievable levels of drip in that city, rivaled only perhaps by Paris and Tokyo. Like I have no idea, where do you even get glasses that look that good? Now still cool? Yeah, that's the point. Like, he looks fucking sick.
I have never experienced this type of fear, agony, and impotence ever
Glasses
before
look
in my
goofy?
life.
No, they don't.
I fear being sent to a country that feels strange to me now. I fear not seeing my mom ever again. I fear not seeing my grandparents ever again. They are old, and I know that I only have a very few years with them. I fear not seeing my brother, even if it is just to argue. But mostly, I fear not seeing my baby brother ever again. He's just 3 years old, and he is what brings happiness to my life. Now, all the times I have nightmares, I dream that I'm being taken away, or my mom is being taken away, and I can't do anything to stop it. Sorry. So please go above and beyond to protect people like me, people like my mom, my brother, my neighbors. Please.
Sorry, my English is not so good. It's okay. I have written some.
That's fine.
Okay.
I'm assuming she asked not to be shown on film, or maybe they just intuited that based on the context of the conversation.
First of all, congratulations. Your empathy deserves to lead. Okay, number one. Number two, thank you for creating softness in people's heart. In world where people are not united. Okay. The third one.
Did any chuds make it into this event? I'm actually asking. Did they? Like, are there any recordings of that?
Time.
Thank you.
Really, you. My family, my daughters, my husband, everyone. When I go outside New York, I see some happiness and satisfaction people face. I'm a very good observer. So I saw little change in that people faces, like hope, light, happiness because of you.
Thank you. What's your name?
Samina.
Samina?
Yeah, I'm from Pakistan.
Pakistan?
Yeah, Urdu aati?
Oh. पढ़ तो नहीं सकता हूँ,
और नहीं
बोल तो
पढ़ते,
सकता
लेकिन
हूँ।
मैंने तो मुझे ये था कि मुझे पता नहीं इंग्लिश। मेरी बेटी कहती नहीं मामा उनको आती है, आप जाए आप उर्दू में बात करें।
कहाँ से हो पाकिस्तान?
पाकिस्तान, लाहौर।
लाहौर से?
हाँ।
मैं एक दफ़ा गया था।
गया था लाहौर आप?
बहुत ही खूबसूरत शहर।
बहुत खूबसूरत शहर है, लेकिन आप जैसे लोगों ने आके न्यूयॉर्क को बहुत खूबसूरत बना दिया है, यकीन करें। वो खूबसूरती अलग है, बिल्डिंग्स की, हर चीज़ की बिल्डिंग, लेकिन जो खूबसूरती आपने लोगों के दिलों में दी है ना, और जो सॉफ्टनेस डाली है, मैंने बड़े बड़े हार्ट्स को बदलते देखा है यहाँ पर।
थैंक यू।
ऊपर वाले भी और नीचे वाले भी, दोनों। आपने लोगों के दिल बदल दिए हैं।
थैंक यू।
और ये आप एक कितने गिफ्ट होता है अल्लाह की तरफ से, वो आपको मिला है।
थैंक यू।
इतनी मुझे खुशी हो रही है, मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा मैं और क्या बात करूँ। इंग्लिश मुझे अच्छी आती नहीं, मगर मैं आपसे इंग्लिश में भी अच्छी बात करूँ।
जो भी
आती नहीं, मगर मैं आपसे इंग्लिश में भी अच्छी बात करूँ।
जो भी बोलना है।
आपकी आंखों में जो एक सच्चाई है ना, वो किसी से छुप नहीं सकती, किसी से छुप नहीं सकती। नहीं।
थैंक यू। Thank you. Thank you.
Mamdani might be perfect. He might just literally be perfect. I mean, I'm not like it's not to like downplay it or anything. It's just I really think this is not as uncommon. We're just not used to seeing it in politicians. The line, at least from the Democrat side, right, has been you can get into politics, but here's the rule book. And they slam the big rule book on the table, and you've got all the, here's how you deal with controversies. You can never criticize Israel, blah, 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 blah. But I think that what a lot of Democrats themselves aren't even aware of, like I certainly don't think this is a named rule. They just teach themselves to stop being human, But people act like this all the time. You just walk around a town, people will act real nice, I don't think it's inhuman. It's why I do feel like a little bit of a sense of inevitability over our winning in the long run, because you can show a conservative this and they will have to force themselves to be angry about it, And you can show a conservative behavior from Trump, and they will have to force themselves to be okay with it. This is in line with natural human behavior, This is godly. It's healthy, right? You don't need any manufactured pretext. You don't need a bunch of billionaires selling you an algorithm to believe that this is nice. But you do need that for Trump and for all of their cohorts. Good things are good. I do still believe this.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi, sir.
Hi. How are you?
Good. Good to see you. Thank you.
Very welcome.
My name is Anastasia Dutsati.
Yes, what's on your mind?
I am an asylum seeker, queer, Russian exile journalist.
All right,
I've been
pick a
in New
struggle.
York since January 2022, and it feels very special to be in this space because people like myself are usually not allowed in the spaces of power, and we are usually reduced to the case numbers or A numbers, and it's very special to be here. Thank you for having me. And I wanted to ask you how you're planning to address ISIS presence in the city. And also, I believe that the sentiment towards immigrants and asylum seekers in the country right now is not the best. And I faced it myself so many times. When I was going for like job interviews, people would be worried that if they hire me, there might be troubles with the law because I'm an asylum seeker, and it's really hard to explain to them that I'm legal. I have a work authorization, and I'm overqualified for the job sometimes, but I'm still here. And I was also laid off during the funding cuts. I was a researcher on transgender asylum seekers research here in an NGO. And I've been wondering how you're planning to address immigration.
I think there are a number of things. I think the first is to use the bully pulpit to actually say that we're proud of being a city where more than 3 million New Yorkers are immigrant, myself being one of them as well. The other also, there have been documented violations of sanctuary city policies here in New York City, and under my administration there will be no tolerance for a violation of that law. That law makes clear that there cannot be coordination between the NYPD or other city agencies and ICE unless it's pertaining to around 170 serious crimes that someone has been convicted of, as opposed to what we are seeing right now, where, you know, there is someone sitting in prison today, sitting in detention rather, because of the fact of that collusion that took place. The other piece here is that I'm going to make the case to everyone, including directly to the president, as I have, that these ICE raids, they do nothing to further public safety. They're cruel, they're inhumane. And then there's also the fact that we know there are many people who are looking to use this climate of fear to exploit immigrants here in more of in terms of their status as workers. And I spoke to someone earlier today who told me about a building owner who refused to provide repairs.
We'll be talking about that
for
too.
Repairs. Then the super of the building hired someone to put up posters threatening to call ICE because he knew that they were undocumented. So it was retaliation for a tenant issue that then became an immigration issue. So there's also the need to provide accountability in that way, and some of that comes from the city has a Commission on Human Rights. It's incredibly underfunded. People do not even know to call it to report discrimination. We should actually enforce it.
Thank you.
Very welcome.
And also I have a question about recent ICE raids at Canal Street. Police was playing on the side of ICE, and like, how safe are we under the current situation with the police in the city? It is worrying me because every time I go outside, I feel like as if I might be detained or something might happen to me, and no real ID or work authorization will protect me.
Yeah, I will be making very clear that the NYPD's role is to deliver public safety in this city, not to assist ICE in their operations. The current administration has opened the door to civil immigration enforcement. We're going to close that door very firmly and make clear that there will be no assistance. They will be separated entirely. And I think there are the difficulties of the fact that the federal government can still make its own decisions with what they want to do.
He has to moderate expectations a little bit, of course, because there's a limit to what Mamdani can do about ICE's behavior. I do wonder if he is going to be pushing for the removal of police officers who break with department policy and provide assistance to ICE, you know? Like, I wonder how vigilantly he's going to be monitoring that.
But we're going to keep making clear that it's an attack on the entire city.
Thank you.
Very well.
And one last question, if I can ask. I'm the last one.
No, the next person.
Oh, you're the final person? Oh my goodness, I didn't know that.
He made it.
Yeah.
Please, you can ask one more question. You're the final one.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
When did you finally start feeling that you belong to the city? Because for me, it took up till today to actually start feeling as if I'm a New Yorker.
Oh.
Yeah.
You are a New Yorker.
Yeah. Thank you.
You are a New Yorker.
Yeah.
When did I thought of myself, part of it is I grew up here. I was 7 years old when I came, and so my sense of self was tied to my sense of the city.
What would be your question if you were in that room? I don't know what my question would be. I know what my answer would be. I felt like a New Yorker literally like the moment I landed there for my 1 week vacation. It's a very welcoming city, I think, conceptually. Also, I just don't have imposter syndrome. But that's like the magic, right? You know? I don't think I would feel that way about many other places. I think New York just has like a naturally acclimating aura to it.
I felt like I was a New Yorker.
I think everyone on earth is a New Yorker.
I didn't know that I had a home in New York politics, though, until I worked on a campaign for a man named Khadr El Yatim, ran for city council in Bay Ridge. And that's when I saw myself in our city's politics. And I think that my hope is that that's what our administration can do. It can make sure that everyone knows that if they live here, they are of here. So their city too.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, give me a hug.
It's the first time I feel excited for politics in a while, because I don't have my home country anymore, because it's no more. And now I have this as my home, and you're making it so special for all of us. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
It's not great. I'm so sorry.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I really do wonder if any chuds got in. You know?
Hello.
Hello. How are we feeling after all that?
How are we feeling? That was pretty amazing. It was a lovely, lovely day. It was a day full of nuts and full of New Yorkers. It was pretty.
What was the
amazing.
event to meet? Great. He spent all day talking to random New Yorkers, you know? A classic, like, line of peasants moving up to see the king on his throne and ask for, like, I don't know, a leave on their grain levy or whatever.
I didn't, but it was a blur. I saw numbers, I think 144, 141, 144. I feel like my cup is full with what New Yorkers have shared with me today.
144. If every conversation lasted 1 minute, that's more than 2 hours. And every conversation did not last 1 minute.
It was just a beautiful snapshot of the city. And, you know, am I tired? Yes, but there were multiple people who came here who commuted more than 2.5 hours from Staten Island just to have 3 minutes to talk to me. One of them just to tell me about their favorite bus. And I think New Yorkers are actually the ones who set the standard, and we're just trying to do our best impression of matching it. Because these are people who give themselves to the city, and they rarely get much back. I think it was 10 hours ago, a man named TJ sat in your chair and he said...
And it kind of breaks my heart because a few years ago, you know, I woke up and I said, listen, I realized I'm never going to get ahead here. Someone like me who doesn't come from much, you know, who does things the right way, I just had that realization. It broke my heart that I'm never going to get ahead here.
And I think that speaks to a lot of people who feel like they just have no shot in a place like this. And it's our job to give them a shot. And many people today gave us ideas of how we could do so. And it was lovely. I've been thinking about this for a long time, and this was one of the few times, I would say, where the day itself was even better than the idea. This is why we all work so hard, is because it's for a city that we love, and it's for people that we love even when we don't know them. And it was beautiful. Just thinking about what people shared with me. I mean, there were undocumented New Yorkers that told me about the fear that they live with each and every day when they leave their home. There were New Yorkers who told me how frustrated they were that after living here for generations, they couldn't even conceive of affording it any longer. There were New Yorkers who talked to me about the issue that they were focused on, whether it be the migratory patterns of birds or it be the importance of every New Yorker to have access to buying a fresh tomato. The breadth of interest was incredible. The fluency in the issues, the reality of just the stakes that people are living with every single day, and the pressure that our politics has put on the backs of working people. The bravery was incredible. I'm glad that we did this.
Sheesh. Do you think Mamdani is going to be a kingmaker in a hypothetical Dem presidential primary? Well, that would be pretty ambitious. However, right now, everything is trending positively. In net favorability, things have only been going up. In New York State, for people generally, even within the Republican Party, like, everything's going up. Normally, it's the opposite, right? Normally, like, you are increasingly popular up until the moment you're accountable for anything, and then it's all downhill. But in this case, you know, it seems like he's still got a while. He's got an upward climb. Doesn't he have positive favorability countrywide? Pretty incredible considering the fact that he beat the Uniparty, you know? I mean, it wasn't like he only ran up against Republicans. Net favorability among registered Democrats. Bernie Sanders, Kamala. Yeah, I know. Kamala Harris is going to run in 2028. She's still very popular. I do think that she's going to have a really rough time. She's going to have a pretty difficult time. The political moment did not favor her in 2024. It will not be better in 2028. But why is she so popular? Because a lot of Dems are just normie liberals. They don't, like, follow politics enough to know or care. Name recognition, too. We are years and years out. Years and years out from the election. Hundreds and hundreds of years. Thousands of years out.